Hi everyone. So as we're getting closer and closer to spring, we're going to be celebrating a lot of those things that spring brings, like flowers, and I know a bunch of you are starting to plant flowers, especially I know Miss Linda's class just sent home sunflowers, so I've been planting sunflowers with Lucas. And we're going to be talking a lot more about rain and how the weather's getting nicer and how the baby animals are starting to come around. And another great thing that we get to do in class is that we start talking about life cycles. Life cycles are how something changes to become something else. For example, I know Miss Karen's class and Miss Linda's class, you guys are talking about butterflies. And how does a butterfly start out? Right, they start out as caterpillars, and I know Miss Karen and Miss Linda have both gotten their cups of caterpillars, and if they haven't shown you yet, don't worry, they're going to, so it will come, but I can actually give you a little preview because I got a cup for Lucas. And so these are actually Lucas's caterpillars, and he is going to watch these caterpillars grow, and they're going to get bigger and bigger. And eventually what's going to happen is they're going to climb to the top of their containers, and they're going to form a chrysalis, which is basically like a shell around them. And while they're inside that shell, their bodies are going to change. And when those chrysalises open, out is going to pop a beautiful butterfly. So these are actually Lucas's caterpillars, and I'll give you a little hint of what's to come, and you can see what mine look like right now. So they're actually pretty big. And what they're starting to do is they are starting to climb to the top of the container. And they're basically going to hang, and they're going to start creating a chrysalis around their body. But they're really cool. Unless you don't like bugs, then they might be a little gross, but that's okay. We like them anyway. And so we'll see what happens with these. And like I said, Miss Karen and Miss Linda are both going to be talking about them. And I'll probably also be giving you a little bit of information as well because I have a cup here. But in the hippo and owl class, we talk about something a little different. We talk about ladybugs. So I actually got some larvae delivered. And larvae are basically baby ladybugs. And these larvae are actually delivered in a tube. And it has a green piece of paper in it for them to kind of crawl all over. And there's also some food in there. And what these larvae are basically little black bugs. And I'm going to bring it really close so you guys can see. Oh, there's one actually right in the center right there. And another one crawling right over there. There's a bunch of them in there. They actually gave us a pretty good batch. So what's going to happen is these larvae are going to be inside of this tube for a little while. And they're going to get a little bigger and a little bigger. And then what's going to happen is I have actually a little habitat for them. It's called Ladybug Land. And I am going to transfer these larvae into Ladybug Land. And what's going to happen is they are going to continue to eat. They're going to continue to grow. And when they get big enough, what is going to happen is just like the caterpillars form a chrysalis, the larvae are going to form something called a pupa. And a pupa is the same idea. It's basically a shell around their bodies. And while they're inside of those shells, the larva's body will be changing. And when they emerge, they will be ladybugs. And we're going to learn a lot more about this process. I actually have little tiny figures of each stage. So we're going to do a whole nother lesson on this. But I did just want to give you, and I'll come up real close again, a little preview of what exactly these larvae look like. And they are all in there. And that stuff that kind of looks like sand is actually their food. And then there's a bunch of other little pieces in it, and it's just all the stuff that they need to survive right now. They can breathe in there. There are little holes on the end. And when they're in Ladybug Land, I'll show it to you next week, but it's actually a lot more room for them to grow, and they can actually climb up the walls of it. And most of them form their pupas on the walls of Ladybug Land. So they'll actually be in there, and what it's called is pupating. They'll be pupating for a good week or two, and when they emerge, they'll be ladybugs, and they're going to be really cool. And ladybugs are really special. They're really lucky. So I can't wait to see what is going to happen with our larvae. We have a bunch of them. And when they do turn into ladybugs, we do get to set them free. And it'll be really cool. So I can't wait to start this journey with you, and the next time I see you will be when we are transferring our larvae into ladybug land to start their journey into ladybugs. So here's the larva signing off until we see, ooh, they're really crawling right now. Until we see you again, we're going to see what happens. Hopefully these guys have a good appetite. They keep eating, they keep growing, and we'll see what happens. All right, we'll see you in a little bit. Bye.